I'm okay, guys. So
Okay.
this is the comic book club. We are doing Identity Crisis number 2, everybody, and that was TM's choice. So, Mr. TM, take it away.
All right, Identity Crisis number 2, written by Brad Meltzer, art by Regs Morales. It starts off with the Atom scurrying around his ex-wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife's apartment. What is it? Jean Loring. Why did I say
Gene
Lanning?
Loring, yes.
Yeah, scurrying around there trying to make sure she is safe because of what happened in the previous issue where we had Sue Dibney was murdered, which is the elongated man's wife. So he's trying to make sure
Wife.
that she's safe,
Yes.
that she knows that like she can get the gun ready and shoot if need be. So we go over to the next page where you see she's a little concerned, but we come back with the regular crew that left and sent everybody else on like a mission to go somewhere else. The core group, it looks like 5 of them: Zatanna, Hawkman, Green Arrow, Black Canary, and Elongated Man himself. But we soon find out that there is more people there because Hawkman has a hawk eye, and he is able to sense that Wally West, the Flash, is there in the building while they're telling their secrets. Then, out of just pure luck, Green Arrow just looks over and says, "I know you're there too, Kyle Rayner." And he's like, "Oh, how'd you know that?" And he's just like, "Lucky guess, lucky guess." So we have them trying to figure out. Wally and Kyle are trying to figure out what these guys are hiding, what they're hiding, because they're keeping a secret. They kind of knew that these characters were going to be sent these other people on certain missions and stood back. So Wally and Kyle both saw that they did that. So they were like, okay, they're up to something. We need to figure out what. They go on talking to them and they get into the story about Dr. Light, how he ended up finding his way onto the Justice League, the Watchtower up in space, where he ends up finding none other than Sue Dibney, Elongated Man's wife. So the story continues to go how she screamed, she tried to get away, and it is implied here. It isn't said, but it is implied that something did happen, that he had his way with her, and that it's never said in the book, but it is implied. And then Barry Allen, this is before Barry Allen. This is way before Crisis. So Barry Allen is still alive, and he walks into the wretched scene of Dr. Light doing what he is doing to Sue Dibney. At that moment, the rest of the Justice League come in, and that's where you see Hawkeye, Green Arrow, Black Canary, and the rest that know the secret tackling him down. As they're telling the story, we see that, of course, Elongated Man, Barry, and them have seen what happened. And my echo?
No, we're just talking to the chat.
No, I'm just joking. Like echo, because no one's there. We're just having fun.
Oh, okay. And yeah, so they kind of just wonder what they're going to do. The scene and the act was kind of very terrible. And as these guys are telling the story, that something did happen. There's something that they did because this character was not going to stop. He continued to say he was going to go after Sue. He was going to go after Green Arrow's wife, and he knew who Sue Dibney was. So he had a taste for her, and he was going to continue to do it. So the league was in like a predicament, to say the least, of what they should do with this character, and they all had to take a vote to figure out what was going on. And of course, you got Hal Jordan in the mix as well as Barry Allen's The Flash. So it's kind of mirroring what's going on today's, because instead we have Kyle Rayner's Green Arrow or Green Lantern and Wally West's The Flash. but then it goes blank. And then we kind of change scenes a little bit and go to kind of the Injustice watchtower, where we're kind of following the character of Merlin. Merlin is the Dark Archer, usually an enemy of Green Arrow. We get to see I really enjoyed this part where we get to kind of see like the villains like on their day off just talking shit with each other. It was kind of like that Batman animated episode where it was just the villains sitting around the table. Yeah. So I really enjoyed this a little bit. It kind of threw me off a little bit when I first read it. I was like, oh wait, did I get onto the next issue? But no, it's just showing us the everyday lives of these villains. And we get to see some cool ones, get to see some villainous ones. Never heard of these guys before, but it was kind of cool. And they sound like they're very, very terrible people.
Madame Rouge, just so you know, Madame Rouge, the French girl, had a hand in killing the Doom Patrol.
Oh wow!
Oh wait, I know who Madame Rouge is. She was in.
And I think if that's the German, and if that's the German guy, if I remember correctly, that's the German guy. That's her partner in doing it. So those guys killed the Doom Patrol.
I do know Madame Rouge. She ends up showing up in the Doom Patrol TV show as well.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay, so I do know who she is. She ends up becoming like actually a teammate of the team on that show. But we have the team contemplating what they're going to do. People had to vote because they had a conflict. They didn't know if they should let him go because the jails are not going to hold him forever, and they have to think of their significant others. They got to think of their family. And so they took a vote. They took a vote and decided, Zatanna, hey, we need you to wipe his mind. We need you to make him forget about everything. But she didn't do a very good job. She hasn't done it before, and she kind of messed it up a little bit, and that's why he is not the villain he used to be, and that's why the Teen Titans can be a foil in his regular activities. And even the cops said, like, oh, I thought this guy was a bigger deal than this. So it just kind of made him less of a human, screwing with his mind. So you have the league saying like, oh, that wasn't a good idea. And that as they're trying to go after Dr. Light, I didn't mention that at the beginning, they are on their search for Dr. Light, and that's who they're looking for. And Dr. Light went into that establishment to get help from somebody that's in there because he knew that the Justice League or a fraction of the Justice League was after him. And kablam, here comes Deathstroke to help Dr. Light out. But in at another place where we have Dr. Midnight working on the autopsy of Sudibny, we come to find out that he has found out something as these characters are going into that battle, and that we find out that Sudibny was not killed by Dr. Light. And that is the end of the issue until issue number 3. Issue number 3. So let's get this started. For cover, absolutely love the cover. You have the prominent characters that are in this issue, and that the people that are withholding the secret that is this issue. I absolutely love it. The artwork is very, very good. So I'm going to give it a 4. Art inside the book, I'm going to give it a 4.25. Story-wise is really good. I know it's a controversial issue considering what happens in this issue, but I love the fact that like they're tasked with something that they're unsure of how to handle it. Because at one point you're just like, okay, we can jail him up, we can put him behind bars, but if we let him free, like he could come back after Sue again. So they kind of did something that morally is not right. But what Dr. Light did was terrible. So they had the hard choice. Do I agree with it? Not really, but what were they to do? They were thinking of their significant others, thinking of their family members. So I get why they did what they did. And the secrets kind of are revealed in this issue, that they did what they did to Dr. Light. Yeah, I love this issue. Definitely unfolded, showed us what Dr. Light did, what terrible acts he did, what they are keeping secret, and what more secrets are going to unfold from this story when the ending is revealed, where it says Dr. Light didn't do it. I absolutely love this story when I first read it. So for that, I'm going to give this issue 4.5. And overall, I will give it a 4.25.
Okay.
And I will choose Matt next.
Hi, everybody. I'm out in the wilderness, so bear with me. There's a lot of birds singing in the.
You might have to make your mic again. Do your
How's that?
yeah, maybe.
Oh,
There you
hang on
go.
here.
That's good. Yeah.
All right. What I like about the book is it gives an explanation on how Dr. Light went from being a brilliant tactician against the Atom, the Justice League, and other early people to this moron that was running things for the Fearsome Five in the new Teen Titans. I think that it actually gives a nice explanation there. Having said that, that man is evil.
Mm-hmm.
To even threaten to go after their families, he's got he's got guts. What I would also say is a key part of this story is the fact that Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are not part of this decision. Because if they were part of this decision, my feeling is that they wouldn't have gone through with the mind wipe. Because I think it would Wonder Woman would have said yes, and I think Superman and Batman would have said no. What surprises me, what doesn't surprise me about the decision, the way it was split down, you have the conservative ones voting yes for the mind wipe, and the ones that are known to be left wing, like Green Arrow, voting against. And what does surprise me is that Flash went for it. But I'm sure Flash was thinking about Iris at the time, because I believe they said she was still alive.
Mhm.
No, she had
Yeah.
No,
just
this
died.
is just after she died. 6 months after she died.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I'm not at home, so I didn't have a chance to review the synopsis again. Okay. Having said all that, I think that from a cover point of view, I like the cover. Cover rates a 4. The interior art is also, for the most part, pretty good. So I will. Rags Morales is one of my current modern favorites. He did a great job with Action Comics when they rebooted on the New 52. He did the first 12 issues, and he was pretty good doing that. So I would give the interior art a 4. Now the writing, this was much better than the first one, and it really moves the plot along. I'm going to give this one a 4.5, and the book overall a 4.25.
All right. Well, I got those scores down. Who you want to go next, Matt?
D can go next.
All right, look at this sexy guy.
Yeah, man. He's all Superman out. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for Friday.
Does he like Superman? I didn't know.
Hey, I did see the movie yesterday. It was I really liked it.
Oh, man. I go
I heard
tomorrow.
negative things about Crypto. Is Crypto kind of annoying in it?
Yeah, no, Crypto's the worst. No, I like
Don't
the movie
say
a
any.
lot. No,
I'm going Friday when I get home from this trip. So
Hey, everyone go watch it and make your own opinion. I thought it was really cool.
I
So
might go
as
check
far as yeah, no, as far as this issue goes that we're reviewing, I'll give you a couple things I really liked. I loved how when Kyle Rayner and Wally West joined, like found them, um, they were looking down. The other leaguers were looking down on them as kids because they're newer members of the league. I thought that was really fun. Um, you know, and Wally West was the Flash at the time. That should be a big role in the league, but they were like, "You're a kid," like fuck off. Um, I thought that was really cool. And then seeing people have to struggle with a moral dilemma is very interesting to me. It always is. The mind wipe thing that's a big freaking gray area. Um, like depending on the hero, like Punisher would be like, yeah, I'll wipe his mind with this bullet, you know.
Yeah,
um,
that's what I was thinking
but
the whole time.
for those we're not here to kill you, but we'll alter your mental state permanently. That's a tough choice.
Mhm.
So good issue like that. That moral dilemma, I think, really carried the issue too, because um, it was like a slow build getting there, but once they got there, you're like, okay, that was what brought us to the final panel where they're like, hey, it wasn't Dr. Light, it was, and they don't say who it is, but they say it wasn't him. So cover, I'm gonna go 3.5. Art was really good, but it's also not one of those ones where it sucks you in and you gotta get it in a 9.8. Interior art also very, very good. I'll give that a 4. The story, I'll also give that a 4. And overall, I will do a 4. Oh, and I just got this in the mail today.
Very nice.
Very
Damn.
cool.
So who you
You
got
got the one
next
with
there,
crypto though.
Big D?
Let's go with Alan.
All right. Is there one with crypto? I didn't know that.
Yes,
Oh,
there is.
Crypto too.
hold on, it's right here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait. Go back to the show. Oh, yes.
Oh,
That's the good one. That's
it's a
the
little
good one.
different. Ain't the superpower window? I like the old
Yeah,
retro.
so this one
You
is
gotta
like
get
the
the one with
modern
crypto.
one.
I
Yeah, the
like crypto.
modern one with all the faces and
Wow, a whole bunch
crypto.
of different faces and stuff. Wow.
And
That
this one
is
is
pretty
meant to
cool.
look retro
They're
and
old
like,
school. Yeah.
yeah. So I
Yeah,
like them both a lot,
No,
so
they're great.
yeah,
I'm
damn
beginning
good.
to think that Dee really hated the movie.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
bullshit. Don't go see it. So bad.
I hope the movie does well, actually. Um, okay, so I'm gonna have a different take, I think, than the rest of you guys on this one.
Nope, of
Hold
course
on,
not.
Ellen. Damn you, because I bet it's where I'm going to. But go ahead, go on.
Okay. Okay, so last night I was going to watch. I was like trying to find a movie to watch, and we actually, my family and I, we like horror movies for the most part. And there was this one where there's this movie where it's like body horror, like where this girl's trying to be like called The Ugly Princess or something like that. The Ugly Stepsister, that's what it is. And it's basically her transforming herself in order to be pretty. Okay. And we didn't even watch the movie. So I'm just saying, like, this is the synopsis of the movie, where it's just the trailer we watched. And it was just like, they were like breaking her nose. They were like, she was amputating her foot so that it would be fit into the shoe. She was doing all this kind of body horror like stuff. I'm like, this is not for me. This is not for me. I don't want to watch this. I don't like mutilations. I don't like that kind of thing. So what I'm getting at is the idea that certain books just don't appeal to me. Like just the subject matter, I just don't find it appealing. Like if it was me and I was a superhero, I would have just killed Dr. Light. He's going to be a troublemaker anyways. He, lobotomizing him, yeah, just kill him. Just kill him. It's like, really, they're out in space. Do the world's rules really apply? Drop him out the window. Let him walk home. How about that? So that's kind of my thought on it. Like, why didn't they do that? So yeah, the whole thing where they had to like, warp his mind. I don't like, it didn't make sense to me. There's no real benefit to doing that. Like,
Alan, they didn't kill him because Superman and Batman, two of their conditions of being members, are nobody dies. Nobody
well,
kills.
accidents happen. Okay. So accidents happen. Airlocks accidentally open up.
Also, I want to point out too, it's like they couldn't kill him because then there'd be no more story. They'd be like, oh well, all right, that wraps that up.
Wrapped up. Okay, so the point is like, and to me, I felt like, sometimes I feel like there's laziness in writing. And one of the lazy things you can do is kind of have like sort of this kind of situation. I know where they were trying to go with it, where they were trying to say, oh, it's sort of like, almost makes me feel like, right now the big news is about Epstein Island, like, and there's no client list now. All of a sudden, forget there's no client list. Like, there's never been a client list. It's like, no, there. Okay, so the point is like, it's sort of like the blackmailing that happened at there. Like, how do you control billionaires? How do you control rich people? Well, you blackmail them with something that would make them never want that information to be released. Well, how do you get at superheroes? Well, you can't hurt them. You can't. It's not like you can punch Superman and do anything that will really bother him. This is one way to get under their skin and psychologically hurt them. I kind of get where they were going with this, right? But I don't know. It just seems like a bit of a stretch that he would do that. I know he's an evil guy. I know he's a whatever, but I could see him beating her up. That could make sense, or even killing her. That would make sense. You know what I mean? So there's certain things to me, it felt like a bit of a.
Can I say one thing though?
Yeah.
The laziest thing you could do to get yourself out of a bind is to kill a character.
Yeah, I mean that's true too. That can be lazy too. But he could have like beat her up or something. Something just to show that they're, the people that they care about are at risk. That could have been that simple.
Well, to be honest, too, if you're going to talk about the Justice, I'm just going to say this really quick. When Flash killed Professor Zoom, okay, when he killed the Reverse Flash, there was an issue where they actually had the Justice League in a Flash issue where the Justice League took a vote whether to kick Flash out or not because he killed somebody. They knew he killed somebody. They didn't have to worry about a guilty plea, right? And Superman actually cast it was down the middle too. And Superman was the one that cast the vote to have the Flash stay because he said, ordinarily I wouldn't condone killing, but in this case he was protecting his fiance from the guy who already killed his wife.
They could have said they were protecting her from the
I know. White. So there is precedent about killing a person with the Justice League. Your point is correct.
So yeah, to me this is. So I love the fact that you bring in legal precedents, Matt. That's so awesome. That's so you, Matt. Okay. But so those kind of things really bothered me. Okay. So I read another thing. I think I believe that the Identity Crisis will be a good series of 6 books. It's 6 books, right?
7.
GM? 7. Okay, 7 books. And sometimes for me, like, these segments, by themselves are not enough. Like, I think it really does need the full story. Because you're almost forget, like if you just read this one, you didn't pick up issue 1 for whatever reason, and you just sort of read this one, you'd be like, okay, it's like, because you don't have that tie-in. And I actually thought that the first one did set up a pretty good potential mystery. It did set up that whole sleuthing thing. So I felt like the first one was better. This one was kind of like, oh, we removed this guy, but we removed one of the suspects, but we did it in a way that only embarrasses the people that were involved, makes the Justice League members look like they're somewhat evil because they're going around wiping people's memories or doing bad things. You know, it didn't necessarily add anything to the characters. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's this is where
Well,
my
it
issues with
revealed it would have revealed what the secret that they were holding in
Yeah.
the previous issue.
But do you want our heroes to have these kind of dark secrets? It's up to you.
Well,
I
this
mean, I'm
is
just saying.
certainly this is probably the Justice League's darkest secret.
Yeah, so this is the kind of stuff that's I'm just putting it out there. You know, things that bother me. I'm just saying these are things that bother me, and it you know, when was this written? This is 2000s. I can probably early 2000s, right?
I think 2004, I want to say.
It
Yeah.
is 2004.
Yeah, I can sort of see that this was kind of in that whole era of like, let's break down the characters, let's show their flaw. You know, I just I'm a golden age reader. I kind of like my heroes to be heroic. So yeah. So for me, okay, the cover. Let's get into my grades. I sort of was being very critical overall. So for me, the cover, it's a good cover. I give it a 3. It's not one I can remember. Like I remember it, but barely. You know what I mean? Like it's one like certain covers you kind of like remember and they're iconic, and you like, oh, I'll never forget this cover. This one, I can sort of remember. I know it's like kind of like this. There's a bunch of them all on the cover. You know, that's I kind of remember. It's well drawn. Okay, so I'll give it a 3. The interior art I thought was good. And I give that a 3 as well. It was well done. No real complaints. No real wonky characters or anything. I thought it was generally pretty good. But you couldn't. I always use the test of the good art is whether you could read the story without reading the words, and that for me is always the test. I felt like this one was a bit confused, if that makes sense. So that's why I give it a 3 rather than a higher grade, even though the artwork was high quality. And then story, this is where I'm going to hurt you. This is where it's going to be a little bit of a harsh score. I'm going to give it a 1.5. Just because to me this is the ugly princess. Okay, this is not the one that I wanted to read. Okay, and then overall, because I felt like the story really was a distraction and it really undermined the characters themselves, I'm actually going to say it's worse than the sum of its parts. And I'm going to give it a 2.
Wow.
So yeah, so sorry, I'm being of a contrary today, but yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Yo, all right.
And
Yeah.
I was about to say this was on track to be the best book ever.
I know.
After
Wait,
Oh, we're not done yet.
You haven't given it your scores yet, so you have to.
No,
follow
I'm the only
my
one left. It's
practice.
just me.
You can pull up the score. Just
All right, let's see. So 2, 3.56, 9.5. We got a 49.25. So that makes it 58.75. All right. And I get to do my review, which is going to be fantastic. All right, here we go. Check it out. So
Love
for
that.
me, you guys are disgusting, nasty, filthy people that celebrate a comic that has a woman getting her liberties taken away from her. Now, Alan was on point, but you guys, this is a good comic. I like the art. I like the way it read. No, dude. She was looking at them stars in that spaceship and she was getting rammed. Now, if you're going to have that kind of content, have some fun with it. It might have done something a little better. Oh, she's looking in the stars. It's so peaceful. Disgusting. Disgusting. And you think those are superheroes? They wouldn't do that to any human people. What if my sister got raped? What if my mother got raped? Are they going to erase the memories of the person that did that to her? No, dude. They did that for a superhero. So I'm pissed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
That was
Cover.
my thought too. We're on the
Cover.
same page, Biggie. That's good.
Cover 2. Inside art 2.2. Story 1. Overall 1.75. You guys can have your star banging fucking, what was her, Miss Diddley getting her
It's not okay. It's not what happened. It's the story overall that we're going with.
Yeah,
I'm going with
because
that.
The,
that
the
only happened
nasty
in one
part.
panel.
Well,
All right.
To be honest, you have a nasty event happening as the result of a nasty event, and then with the culpable person saying that I'm going to do even more nasty things to more nasty people. What do? I agree with
don't do
Alan. They could have put him in space, but they're not going to do that.
accidents happen. That's all I have to
No,
say.
they just don't want other books to be high praise and stuff. This book got high praise, and they're like, "Oh well, I got to give it a low score." So it's
No,
gonna beat
that
out
was
my
it.
book.
No, those superheroes were not superhero-y. I was a little fucking put off by how DC kind of
Like,
put
in a
down
way,
those guys, and it pissed me off a little bit.
in a
Like,
way,
I
they
would
sort
like
of
to
like
point out
they almost condoned his actions by erasing his memories. Basically,
it's
they're
not good.
saying,
Yeah,
it's like, somebody does something bad. Oh, we'll take it. We'll help him forget that he did something bad, and then the person that suffered still suffers. She would probably want him to either go to suffer for what he did to her, wouldn't it? The fact that they just erase it as if it never happened. Don't worry, we got rid of it. That's horrible.
it
I mean,
is. It really is.
I don't agree with their action. I enjoy the story for going there and saying, what do they do in this situation? How did they handle it? And
Mhm.
and they don't paint it in a pretty light. They don't go, hey, they did the right thing. They're actually kind of making them out like, hey, these human beings that are metahumans made a choice and it probably wasn't a good one. They're
I
Yeah,
not.
agree
because
with that. Yeah.
that's the whole Wally West and Kyle Rayner kind of looking down on
I
these
tell you,
heroes. Like, what'd you do? Like, you shouldn't have done this and stuff. They were judging them, and they were judging themselves too. They were
I
like,
do
"Hey, we shouldn't have done this,
Yeah.
but
I
we
do
should have
like
done
the
what
running
Alan has
gag though.
suggested and just killed them. Just kill it. Just kill him.
I like the running
It's so
gag
much
of
better,
Black.
isn't it?
what's
Yeah.
up, Matt?
I love the running gag of Black Canary saying, "Well, I can take care of myself," because, Green Arrow, she's Green Arrow's girlfriend, and he threatened to go after the girlfriends of the team. Right? It's like, and he's the one going, "You're going to go after our loved ones," and she's like, "I can take care of myself." Like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
just
Yeah.
like
so
that.
this is what I'm gonna do, right? So I'm not gonna change the fact I didn't like the story or the overall. I'm gonna leave those scores, but the art wasn't that bad. So we got a 68.65. I'm gonna round it up to 70. So me giving the cover a 2 and a 2.2 for inside, I gave it an average score for the art. But me, I'm with Alan. I like my heroes to be hero-y. Now, whenever they do special liberties to attack villains just because they're doing it for their own superhero people and people they know, that's bullshit. Because that shit happens all the time. They don't do that to any of the humans victims. That's why I don't like this story. So
Mhm.
Alan said, just kill them. I say, no, you don't get to fucking mind erase them because it hurts you. You don't do that to anybody else. It should be fair. And that's why Superman and Batman wouldn't be with that bullshit.
Yeah. Like, if my point is, I wouldn't have mind erased him at all.
See,
Like, I think that was a cop out. You know,
I would have done things a little differently. I would have killed him outright. I would have said, "Hey, let's see what happens to the first human to land on Saturn."
you know, there is sort of like, there is sort of a thing where the death sentence does have its practical uses, and this is one of those practical uses where that the guy is not going to be redeemable.
Well, this is where I will make the argument capital punishment is unnecessary because the people who it's going to act as a deterrent for, there's some people even death isn't a deterrent, and killing them
Well,
doesn't
death
solve
is a
anything.
deterrent in this case because he's not going to be. No, Dr. Light will not commit any more crimes if he's dead.
Yeah, you got all these lobotomized supervillains
This-
because the Justice League is so uptight and so sensitive. Fuck off.
This is comics. Nobody stays dead.
All right. So for Friday Night Collector Club, we actually got some good news. We're going to have the 1 minute rounds, and we have 2 matches. We have Darth versus Allen, and the Great Legend is going to be again. Who's the great? Do you remember TM? Great Legend. I don't know, but we're doing Darth versus Allen, Great Legend versus somebody, and we're gonna be looking forward to Boston Chris versus Legend later. So, and then we'll have an undervalued championship. That's Friday night. Back to the same old stuff, but there's going to be matches,
Okay.
so it's going to be good. All right, thank you guys for coming. Matt, you want to tell us what your book is? We'll get the averages later. Matt's not in his computing office right now.
I want to pick Detective Comics #1 from 2011. That's the new 52-bit version. It's a Joker story, and I think it's a good Joker story. So I thought we would go with that. I reread it not too long ago and thought, hey, maybe this wouldn't be a bad choice.
Cool. All right. You guys don't forget to vote for D's looking damn good. I know he's looking fucking sexy today. Hey, Legend, who are you battling, Legend? I forget if you can remember. So don't forget to vote for Alan on his Monday special on the comic show.
And vote
the
for
CBC.
Biggie for comic book community.
Hall of Fame, baby.
Hall of
That's
Fame.
the one.
Yeah, Hall of Fame.
I'm going against the devil himself, Sleepy Reader 666.
Oh boy!
Well, but we don't know yet. We don't know yet. It's not.
No, we don't
They
know.
haven't announced the short list yet. But I'm going to get all my subscribers to vote for you, and I'm going to get Matt's going to get all his subscribers. We're all going to get you going there.
I'll get all my people to vote for Alan, which you probably don't need it because you win anyway. But no, he's battling Bleeker. That's right. Great Legend versus Bleeker and Alan versus Darth.
Okay.
It's going to be awesome. And the rest of us will get into, we'll figure out how to get in.
Nice.
Yeah. So
I
do the
probably
voting.
won't be there Friday, Biggie. I've got a date night, and I don't think I'm going to be back in time to join your show.
That's cool,
it's
man.
my turn. It's my turn to go see Superman.
Absolutely. Thank you for showing up. We got the whole gang together. We had a good book club. Me and Alan fucked up TM scores for a good book. And we'll see y'all later, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Thank you for the 2 people that watched the majority of the show and the 8 people that came at the end. See y'all later.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.